Test. 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 There we go. Test. There we go. Test. There we go. Test. Okay. Finally. Sorry about that, guys. I had my audio completely muted last week, and for an hour and a half, I did talking to you guys, and I wasn't really talking to anybody, so that's super frustrating. There's a lot of valuable content I had there. So it looks like it's working now. I had to mess with the settings on Streamlabs as I learn how to do this. So I'm pretty sure everyone can hear me and see my screen. I'm just going to try to overview what I did last week, just to try to catch you up. And then today is going to be kind of a long stream as I try to finish this. I might also build it out in Google Sheets as well. Well, that's going to happen. I just don't know if it's going to happen today. But today I'm trying to finish everything else. So last week we got pretty far. Um, so we already had all the data columns set, so that wasn't new. I just added some data here to try to get some visuals, but the upcoming appointment still works if we updated the dates. See, this automatically updated to today, so if I had any appointments coming up this week, it would have updated. Let's put this for, let's just so you can see something. Let's say that we got something for the 25th, 26th, and then that should come through. Yep. So now we got, so the number one tab we got is upcoming appointments. As the data is changed and entered, this will automatically update so the salesperson can see everything they got going on. Um, and it will auto adjust every week based on the current date and whatever the data says. The next, I don't remember if I added this last week or if you saw it the week before, but I have a tab for this will auto populate any data row that's labeled called in here, and that's referencing the validation tab C2. Oh yeah, I did do this last week, so this is important. So the statuses are called, appointment set, follow up, sold, lost, and long term. Sold and lost need to stay there. And then whatever you put into this box is going to be mapped to this tab. Whatever you put in box C3 is going to come up in appointment set. Follow up is going to be the third one, and then long term is going to be the fourth. And then sold and lost, they're not in there because this is mainly to track pipeline, so you don't want statuses that are complete in that. Um, but actually, now that I think about it, you probably want to see sold and lost as well. So it'll be lifetime. So let's make that real quick. So let's copy long term and let's get everything in here that's been sold. Might as well super easy here. So sold was C5. So we'll just change this to C5. And there's everything that's been sold. Which probably makes sense to have these in here now because they're actual sales. And let's do another one for lost. So it's just good for, you can really track your success over time as a salesperson with this stuff. It's really cool. So I think that's C6. And there's the lost. So this is lost. Sold. And looks like I messed up this last week, so this should be long term. Follow up appointment set called. Okay. So those are all those will all auto populate, and it's based on what your statuses are. Which, if you change these names, you can do that. That's completely fine. Just know that whatever's in C1 is going to be referenced in this tab. Whatever's in C2 is in this tab. Follow up. I might as well. I don't want to put these in order because I want sold and lost to kind of be separate from the pipeline. because once it's sold or lost, it's out of the pipeline. Um, okay, so you've got all those auto-populating. We've got monthly stats that I added as well as visuals. So what this does, we've got 2 years worth of data, and you can input the start month, which is always going to be the first day of whatever month you want. So 1/1/2021 is January. You could put this at 2020 if you had older data you wanted to see against current new data or whatever, or you could start it in 2022 and see, next whatever. That could be any start month. I just have it for 2020, 2021. And what this will do is, so you've got kind of your sales won and sales lost totals. You've also got it by month based on the data in here. You've also got the win rate by month as well as the overall win rate. You've got the dollar value of sales won, which is taking column M, which is this one, actual sales. Commissions earned, same thing. And then we've also got the dollar value of column M if it was marked as lost, as well as commission lost. So you can see, how much you've won, how much you've lost. I think that's really good, like high level stats that are pretty easy to digest. What's your win rate for people that you have potentially to sell cars to. So then based on whatever data is entered, this will populate. Now I only did 12 months here because it got too cluttered to show a full 24. Now, if you wanted it to show the full 24, you could just click on the middle section here and then just drag this down like that, and it'll show. And then it's only showing every, what is that? Every 3 months: January, February, March, January, February, March, April, May. So it's skipping a month there. If you want to also update that, you just format the axes, whatever, and go, instead of 2, you could put 1 here, and then it will show every month. I guess that's not too bad looking. I didn't want it to be too cluttered is the key here. Can you really? Because you've got sales won and lost each month, and this is so this. Let's see, just for rant, just let me put some data in here. I just want to see what this could look like with more stuff real quick. So the question is that too hard to read? By the way, I did get a new wired keyboard and a wired mouse. It's a mechanical keyboard. It's really been an improvement. Worth all the money. It's really good. Okay. So, I don't know. Is that too cluttered? The benefit of having both years is you can see like year over year how you've been doing, but it's just kind of harder to read with the numbers in there. Maybe if we put the font down, let's put the font to like 8 on both of these. Yeah, you know what? And you can mess with all these settings. I'm going to keep it actually at a 24 month because that's not too bad. Let me redrag these formulas down here. Okay, so then win rate, we're going to go down 12 months as well. Adjust the axes. Show every month. And we could make this font. I guess there's only 1 bar for each month for the win rate, so I think that font is fine. We don't have to fit 2 in. Now this one, let's drag it down. And this one we don't have labels because it's just too big of numbers. But so that's fine how it is. Okay, cool. So we've got some main metrics there on a overall level for whoever's data this belongs to, whoever it is, and you can see all these nice stats here. What else did we do? Oh my goodness, this thing took like an hour last week to figure out, or to make look nice. So it's the pipeline. So what is the pipeline? Well, it's any data row in here that has a status that's marked as anything besides sold or lost. So it means it's potentially something that can be turned into a sale. And so what I did is I put lifetime stats up here, which is going to be the same as the win rate that's here. Actually, no, this is only going to be for 2 years or whatever data is here. This is lifetime, so this doesn't matter what dates are here. All that this is doing is looking at all of the data that exists. So lifetime win rate. Then we have the current pipeline. So anything marked as called. So called is like your salesperson. You've called somebody. They haven't come in yet for an appointment. They're thinking about it, whatever. That's what their current status is. They haven't said no for sure yet. They're just kind of in limbo. You're just waiting. The total value of that, if you know it, this numbers might not be super accurate if you don't really know what the people what. Appointment set. Appointment set means they've called and they've scheduled an appointment to come in. So called is just they've called, but they actually haven't said a date to come in, so you're still working on them with these through phone or email or text or whatever. Appointment set is like they're like, okay, I'm coming in next Thursday. So then they would be marked as appointment set, and this tells you how many of those you have, how many leads you have marked as that. Follow up would be somebody that has come in, they set their appointment, they came in, you talked to them, and they said, well, you've got my email. I'm going to keep looking. I haven't decided on if I'm going to buy a car from you guys or somebody else or whatever. So follow up is the next one. And then long term is kind of, it's subjective. It's wishy-washy a little bit, but long term just means they haven't definitively said no. As of the moment, you think they still are looking for a car, but they're just kind of like they don't want to pull the trigger, so you're just working on them. It could be a few months, 5, 6 months. They're in long term before they move to lost. So that's what that is. Um, these are things you might follow up with maybe once every 3 weeks or something. So then we got the total count in the pipeline and then the total value. And then we have these nice visuals. So this is the count, the top chart, which is just looking at these numbers. So how many do you have in call, appointment set, follow up, long term, and these will all change. Like if I change the values here, see how that changes proportionally. Let's say we got 1 in appointment set, 15 in follow up, 18 in long term. So I thought this was really nice how it took me a while to format this so it works like and it looks nice, but I'm super, super happy with how this turned out. And all these things will just update. Let me undo these so I don't lose all the formulas I just put in there. Yep, so that's good, that's good. And then the bottom chart's the same thing, but it's just doing the dollar value instead of the count of the pipeline. Uh, and I didn't really see a great way to show visually the total value of the pipeline other than, you can see, you can add these up here. But there's not like a axis on this that shows like what the total value of this triangle is without having to add up every single one. Same with the count, like how many people. Um, I wonder. No, I really don't want to get into this and mess with this anymore. I'm happy with it like it is. So you can see the totals right here if you need to. Put this in bold. So that's it. That took me an hour and a half to do basically everything I just showed you. About an hour and a half. Now, the next thing I wanted to do with this is differentiate it based on, I wanted to do these monthly stats based on a whole bunch of different slicers. So that means different makes, maybe not different models, but maybe different vehicle types. So you can see win rate by vehicle type, win rate by make. Uh, I wanted to keep the pipeline higher level. So, excuse me, what's I gonna see? Oh, shoot. Um, I want the pipeline to stay high level and not go down into the models and makes, but monthly stats definitely can be that. So let's see how we want to do this. So let's go. We're gonna call this. Oh man, that sneeze kind of hurt my arm somehow. Oh dear. Take off this hoodie. So we want to track. Let's do this one by what is it? Make by the make. I think that's the make, like the Ford or you know the brand, and then the model is more the detail of that. Um, if not, I'm sure somebody will correct me and I'll fix it. But for now, let's do. So we want to see all of these stats by car type. Now there's two ways I can do it. One, we can just put a thing up here like this, a data validation list. I can just go list, go in here to the makes, and I can just, there's probably going to be at least 10 in there. Should be a good number. And give it our edit colors. I think it was this and light yellow. So we can select a different make and it will only show stats for that one. And actually, this probably makes the most sense. And then we can just do a couple tabs so that you can select them, or you can set one to Ford, another tab to a different one, another tab to a different one, and just see all the different. We can do like 4 of those. So let's just put make one. So filter by make. So then we'll go, all of this stuff's going to work the same, but we're adding one slicer in here to the formula, which is the data tab make is equal to this. Oops, and it's a merge cell, so I think we gotta go with B4, should work fine. Lock that both ways. Lock the data column. And now it's real simple. We just take that, copy it, and that's the slicer we put on everything. So first let's drag it down here, make sure it's working right. So I'm assuming these are both, yeah, it's all Ford. Now if I change one of those, let's see, which one was it exactly? Whoops. And whenever I was making this data, let's put these to 1. Somehow I added an extra number on those. That's why we didn't see anything for 2020. All right. Where are we? So, oh, wait a second. Are all the ones in 2021 still? Oh yeah, they are. Let's put this in here. Mark it as sold, and that looks like it's updating fine. I just want to make sure this one sales is at 2. Let's put all these at test 2. Oh, wrong one. Test. Sold to, oh, 2020. We'll just mark them all as test. Make sure. Okay, good. So now it's 0. Let's switch this to test. Now we get numbers. So what I do is you just easily copy this last little slicer and add it to every single formula at the top. And then it'll be real easy to, that's not needed. It'll be real easy to replicate this against however many tabs you want to make. And I'm just going to do 4 for each. So I'm going to do 4 tabs for filtering by make and 4 tabs filtering by vehicle type. And you can see it's real easy to duplicate it. You literally just make a copy and then you could select a different one here. And if you need to make the range longer, you go, you know, click on the cell, hit data, data validation, and then make the range, you know, more than 10. You can make it 15 or whatever. Let's make sure this is working. I wanna put half of these as forward. Let's see what happens. Still 2-1. So this is March and April. Where are these hitting? So this one, let's put this as a forward. Okay, good. It worked. It worked. And then the ones in March. Let's see, this is lost. Let's mark this as forward. And the lost went away. Okay, so the good news is that's working. The filter is seeing it. I'm just going to mark all these back up to forward here. So now the monthly stats shows just based on everything. Make 1 is going to show, we'll just set it to forward here. And see if I put the test, it should all zero out, which it does. That's good. Forward is 4267. Let's see if we do test, it should be the same numbers. So put in here, yeah, 4267%. Perfect. So it's pretty arbitrary however many tabs you have there, because literally with the drop down functionality, all you have to do is just, so I'll show you. So make a copy, make 1, and now we have make 2, and you can just set this to test. And now you can look at the stats for forward, stats for the second one, and we'll put a third one. And you can see it's basically arbitrary. It's really, you can make as many as you want, and all you have to do is change the drop down. So you got make 1, 2, 3, and 4. Make this a little bit of a different color. Monthly stats, make 1 through 4, and then, I mean, you could drill down. You could do make and filter by car type, like so you'd see all Fords that are, how do you do on Ford cars? How do you do on, right now the second name is just test, but how do you do on test cars? How do you do on test trucks? How do you do on Ford trucks? So you could do a double filter, but for now, um, we're not. And the way you would do that, it gets kind of weird. Like you'd have to put another drop down here, and then you'd have to have an option for all, so that you could type in, okay, I want to see all of Fords, or I just want to see Ford of a certain type. And then it gets a little bit more complicated, but that's a bit too deep. But it's definitely possible to do. You would just do the formula if, um, well, you'd have to go back here and see how we have these pass-fail checks. You'd have to do more things like that, so then you could just reference one column to check if the row passes, and you'd have to have one for, um, well, actually, let's do it. Let's do it. So how it would work is, so let's do, instead of make four, let's just copy this and let's do um, make plus, I don't know if you can do plus sign in the tab name. Oh, you can. Okay. So make plus type, and now gets weird because we need to have an option for all. I don't want to have to do that though. Let's just assume, since you have already have the ability to go by make or and by type of car, you're going to have that. There's no need to have the option on here too. So this is going to be, you're going to have to select two different things, and we're still going to have to do the helper column to do that. So go to data, list, and now we're doing car type, and we'll do 1, 2, 3. I guess we do 6, and you could really change it to whatever you want, but format it. So now, a little bigger, 16, put it at 14. Make all these a little bit smaller so it looks nicer. But I think it's really powerful to be able to just select in a drop down and then see like your 2-year monthly stats on all this stuff. That's pretty cool. So you got the make plus type. So how do we do this one? Well, give these some borders. I don't know why I put 12 months here. It's 24 months. Okay, so make and type. Make this a little bit of a different color, even more. So now let's put the pipeline up over here. Now we want to check both of these if they match. So what we do is we got check 1, check 2, and pass fail because there's 2 checks. And right, that was for upcoming appointment. We check the start week, end week, and if it's marked, oh, we got a date here. We got a format. And if it's marked as an appointment set. So this is going to check. The first check is if we only want things if the make equals this make, And if wait, and if so we did if the make and if the vehicle type equals this, and we can lock our check, and this doesn't need to be locked. This does. So if it equals all of that, then go 1, otherwise 0. And that's the check, actually. So it has to... Oh, wait, no, that's not the check. And this shouldn't be in a fan formula. Hold on. We want to check if one equals, then mark 1. If the other one equals it, mark 2. And then we want to check if... this could be an or. If or. So if I2 equals that, or if K2 equals that, then 1, 0. And then you could check... no. That wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. It has to be... Both have to match. So let's see. Does the and make sense? If I think so. I think so. If and the make equals the make and the type equals the type, mark the row. So it has to be a Ford Fusion or whatever. And then we actually only need one checker, so we only need one check here. So this is the pass fail for that. And how far did I go down here? Looks like about 1,000 rows. And this is the thing with Excel is it doesn't have as nice of array formulas for stuff like this. You'll see in Google Sheets when I build that, I'm only going to have to put one formula in the top row of all of these check stuff and all of the now the count ifs I can't because it has multiple, but you'll see in some of these I can just put one formula to do it all. Like this won't have to be drugged down. So let's see. Let's check this here. So we've got, let's do a car and a Ford. And then what we'll have to do, this instead of having to equal, all we actually have to do is if this equals 1 as well. And that's the slicer we add to all of these. So remove this one. That's fine. This. Okay, now let's drag all that down, and it should only give us data that matches the make and the model, or the make and the type. I'm going to try and, this is in the way here, pull this down. Okay, so now if I switch this to mid-size cars, we've only got 1, and if I switch it to test, there's 0. But now let's change the data. Let's say all these are mid-size cars, and what was the other one? And they're all marked as make type test. Now we go over, and there we should have everything that you see on the monthly stats because it's all marked as that and that. Now if you've switched it over to cars, let's say half were cars now instead of mid-size. Let's just put whatever. These are just arbitrary. And these doesn't matter the position. When you type in vehicle types here, you can type in whatever. It doesn't matter what order they're in. Same with the make, which is actually pulling. Oh, and this is, I don't know if I did this last time or not, but the make is pulling from here. So you'd put your raw data in here about all the different makes and models you have. This gives you a unique list of makes. And then the models. How do we do that? I think I just referenced that. I. Okay, so it's just taking this. Now the nice thing about the other thing about Google Sheets is I wouldn't have to make this unique column in Google Sheets. I would just have to reference this and it would only filter out so it only gives you the unique values for the drop down automatically. It's just how it works, so it's kind of nice. Um, so let's switch this over. What do we do? So nothing's listed as Ford in midsize. Now let's put this as Ford. One in April. Does that make sense? Uh, so, yep. You can see here there's only in this bucket where all these are marked as Ford and midsize, there was only one that was sold and nothing that was lost. So that's good. If we, let's say we put this to lost, it should now say, well, that's for May. So it gives us one loss in May, one win in there. Okay, so that looks like it's working fine. So you're gonna get the double filter here if you want. I guess I can move this over a bit and put like select type. Oops. Select uh, make. Make this smaller. So now you've got the dual. Show all your stats for if the make and type match, or you can just look at all the different makes, or let's copy this, and I'm just going to do one of these for the type, but you get the point. This will be type, oops, rename. This will be type 1. So now it's filtering, okay, I just want to see if the type matches. So first we got to go data validation. Now we want this. So you can see anything that's listed as whatever. And all we have to do now is check. Let's get rid of this. And now we want to check if the data type, vehicle type matches. Oh, what happened? Don't crash on me, Excel. Don't do it. Please don't. This is rare, but it happens. I can't click on anything. Come on. Please don't die. Come on. Is the keyboard just not responding to anything? All right, let's go over here and see. Now the keyboard's working, so it's like something with Excel. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Gee, many Christmas. All right, so we're matching if the type matches. This is already in here, so we don't need to reference the tab name. Lock that, lock that, lock this, lock this. So here's the slicer we add to this. And now we can check against the type. Oop. And I better make sure on the other tabs that I don't have the tab name referenced in any of those, or else we'll be pulling the wrong data. All right. Come on, mouse. Trust me, when you're in Excel working for a while, like an hour or 2 hours, you start to get fatigued, and it can be tough to deal with no breaks. So okay, so now we see cars, trucks, no trucks, mid-sized cars, cars, and then all your different charts auto-populate. Make sure this is all working. Okay. Um, So, and again, if you wanted to do more tabs, like here you can see make 1, 2, 3, and 4, type 1. All you do to do this is make a copy of type 1 and then just select a different type. And it's as easy as that. Um, I don't actually want to. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So that's mainly what I had in mind. I mean, I think we might be done here. Look in here, make type. Do I have anything else that really makes sense to add is the question. And again, I'm willing to take suggestions and updates on this. I'll update over time. This is definitely a template that I'm going to put up for sale. It'll be a one-time fee of $45 if you want to purchase it. And again, this could be used for different things besides just car. It's really built for a car salesperson, but you could adjust it for any business, and you just instead of a make and a model and a car type, you could have different products in here, whatever you're trying to sell. And the status still makes sense for a pipeline. Doesn't have to be just car sales because everything else is universal. You could mess with the commission sales. Just basically you're attaching some dollar amount to the data. So it's definitely universal. It's not just for car salesperson. It could be for anybody that's selling stuff and has to keep appointments and track things, and they want to track the performance of how many sales they had versus um, one lost and all that. Now, why this data should all be formatted as short date? I just want to make sure so that when data starts coming in there, you guys don't see numbers in the dates. Date, date, date. And then let's hope. And this is why I always have just a little bit of sample data in all the templates to make sure stuff like that is caught. Oh, also I wanted to make sure, am I referencing? Yeah. Okay, so see how this says make one here? It's checking if data I if make one matches. So that's, we don't want that because now look, if I go to make two, let's see what, okay, good. It changed because I just had made it. I didn't just copy and paste the formula. I actually made a copy. But normally you want to be careful that if you're referencing a cell that's on the same tab as the formula, like this could just say B4. It doesn't have to say, you know, make 2 B4 or in here make 3 B4. But it's okay. In this case, it doesn't make it cause an error because I just copied the tab, like the entire tab, so it adjusted the formula properly. But if you were to go and say copy, copy this cell into make 4, it would be fine except for that last slicer. Instead of, it should say make 4, but if I copied it in here, it would say make 3, and then it's gonna update based on whatever your make 3 thing is at. So that's just something to be aware of, and that's why in type 1 here I adjusted it so see it just says B4 here. It doesn't say the tab name. All right. I'm pretty happy with this actually. This is great. I don't know of anything else I really need to add at this point. Uh, so I'm gonna post it. I'll do like a 15-minute video overview once I'm all done, um, and just the hits on everything that's not an hour long. And I guess that's it. I don't know what I'm gonna make next, but I do like the idea of just working a little bit every week instead of trying to cram this into one week and killing myself. It's just a lot easier to do it this way. Um, oh yeah, I wanted to test if, let's say we put a couple more in the long term. I just want to make sure the dates update. Perfect. Okay, good. That's good. All right. Well, I'm gonna save this and I'll see you guys on the next one.